Hi Navdeep, welcome to 11 Questions.
Hey, yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Are you a coffee person or a cha person?
Oh, ja, 100%. But I like coffee as well. If I'm at Starbucks, I won't say no to coffee, or if I'm in South India. But I'm 100% a ja person.
Yeah, I didn't need to ask that. And now, if you could have cha with any person, alive or dead, who would it be?
Oh well, my wife makes really good ja. She puts like a ton of ginger in it. So I would definitely have it with my wife. She loves to talk about all kinds of nerdy things. So would be a
I love that.
means.
Did you always want to be a writer?
That one is a kind of a complicated question because I always wanted to be a reader. So like I started writing, like I suppose I did start writing when I was really little. I was writing fan fiction, which is where I got started on that, dark path. But I was really into like Ghostbusters and New Kids on the Block when we lived in Dubai. And so I started writing fan fiction, but I didn't think about like writing professionally until probably like college. That's when I started really, partly it was just I still, of course loved reading. Also, I didn't really see books that spoke to me. So I started thinking about actually writing books that I would have loved to see as a teenager.
What does a good day of writing look like for you?
A good day of writing is when I actually write and get like the words down where things are going according to whatever vague semblance of a plan that I think I have. So like a good day would be where I sit down and I don't just sit at a blank screen or just sit around and it not be there. But I'm supposed to be describing a good day. So a good day would be me having my cup of cha, sipping it, having my nice biscuits, and actually being productive with my session. So if I've got like I don't usually go by word count. I usually go by what I'm trying to accomplish. So like if I want something to happen, some conversation to happen, like I'll have like little notes that will be like character A and character B are going to say something very dramatic. That's my note. Like it's like an overarching like emotional beat. So a good writing session would be ja, biscuits, emotion.
I love that. And now you have written a book called Sunny G's series of rash decisions. Tell me a little bit about it.
This is my book, by the way. See my beautiful cover? Bask in it, bask in it. Yeah. So Sunny G's series of rash decisions is a prom night adventure with a Sikh Punjabi teenager who's the star of my show. He is going through grief, but he is very much into cosplay and fandoms, particularly The Last Airbender. And he meets a girl at prom who takes his notebook and she sort of whisks them away on this 24-hour adventure, and he discovers different fandoms, but also he's going through grief. He has just lost his big brother, so he's dealing with a lot of different emotions, but he's also a very nerdy kid who is just trying to figure himself out.
Why did you write this story in particular?
The idea kind of came about when I was watching Master of None, and I was working on an adult book, which had similar themes. Then I started watching Master of None with Aziz Ansari, and what I found really interesting with it wasn't really the plot or any of those things. It's about this brown guy who's trying to navigate the dating landscape as this brown guy. And what I found interesting is just the kind of the performance of masculinity. A teenager, what would that look like? So when I started writing Sunny, like the seeds of it was initially it was just like this brown kid dating in high school. What would that look like? And the more I started putting my own spin on it, my own experiences, it became like this story. Like I was like, this kid he's insecure, but what if he was sick and he shed his outward Sikh identity? That's part of his high school experience. And what if he doesn't know what he's going to do after high school, which is what my experience was. Like I didn't have college lined up. I didn't know what I was going to do. So the more I sort of peppered it in, and then I love cosplaying with my kids, so I sort of peppered all of those things into it, which and then that became this book.
I have to say that I love that the character is Sikh because that's my identity as well. And it's not something you see a lot in
Eh,
books. Like as a reader, it's
yeah,
definitely missing. You try to relate to like South Asian characters, but Sikh identity is something very rare. I've only seen it in children's books recently, but I've yet to come across an adult book with a good representation.
they've been like sort of peppered in, but like a lot of the books that I grew up reading, it would be like a side Sikh character, or the Sikh character would be like very like gruff, but there wasn't any with like a like that I thought was like a full human kind of
Mhm.
representation. Like they weren't written like proper people, they were written more as caricatures or like side characters to be like the stereotypical sort of things with
Yeah.
what Sikh characters are supposed to be.
Yeah, I guess Bali Jaswal's books are what come to mind if I start thinking about like Sikh characters and their stories being told. Other than that, I don't think I can remember any.
The one book that I really loved was Anita and Me by Meera Syal. They had this really good comedy sketch show in like the 90s, 80s maybe. No, I think it was 90s. And it's one of the first books that I really loved because it was set in the 80s, but it was written in the 90s. And it's about this Sikh girl. I think she was Sikh. She was Punjabi at least. And it's set in like a small British town, and it was the first depiction of a Punjabi character and a working class, which I
Mhm,
haven't seen. Working class I haven't seen very much at all, especially
mhm.
in South Asian community, represented in books.
Coming back to your book, how long did it take for you to finish it from the idea to the actual book?
A long, long bloody time. So when I started it, it was that 2015. I think it's 2015 or 16. That's when that's when I started looking at Master of
Mhm.
None. Then I started actually, like, I didn't actually properly start then, but I would say a good couple of years, like a good solid year and a half of actually, okay, here's my story. Now I'm actually going to write. Now I've got deadlines, and now I have to actually write this. Before I was sort of dawdling about with coming up with the idea, and then I would go one direction. First I'd kill one character, then I killed another character. Then I was like, I'm going to change this whole thing up. And then of course, once I integrated the cosplay into it, then it was a lot of going back and forth and how to actually deal with grief. How the person actually died. Like I didn't know how Goldie died until like I was almost done with a good chunk of the book. And initially I had like the dad die, then I had the mom die, and then I had to go back and rework the whole thing. But it was probably
Mhm.
about I would say like about a year and a half of solid writing from beginning to end.
What was it like to get it published?
It was very exciting. It was like my first book, like actually, holding it in my hands. And also it was funny because I missed the whole arc process because of the delays with delivery and stuff. So I didn't get the arcs until after the book had been was out
Oh,
in book. But it's been a very exciting process. To be able to get everything that I wanted expressed, like because when I started writing, like in MFA workshops, they were like, you can't put Punjabi in here. If you can't have Sikh characters. They were like, it needs to be, more written for like a white audience. But I have like a lot of references to like, Hindi movies and then food as well. I remember I was in a workshop and they wanted me to translate like, I had like gulab jamun in there. It was like the scene was there were these two uncles that were eating a gulab jamun and they were talking about 9/11. Everyone was like, you have to translate gulab jamun. I was like, what on earth am I gonna say? They bit into sugary dough balls dipped in syrup, and that's not the point of the scene either. So I was very lucky with my editor and the support team because everyone like understood that what this book was trying to do. So a lot of stuff is not explained. It's most of it is in context. Like you can kind of tell when if you're drinking char or
yeah,
things like
I love that. And also, I'm hungry now. I need some gulab jamun.
that.
Do you have any advice for budding writers out there?
Write it. Write your book. Like I mean, honestly, like that's the advice is write your first draft. Like no matter what other people are thinking, or if people are saying you shouldn't do this, etc., just get your words out. Be passionate about what you're writing. Don't cater to what the market is doing or things like that, but just really just write what you want. But the first step is just finish that first draft, and then you worry about if it's not entertaining, or how to liven things up. But don't get bogged down with those minor things. Just finish that first draft.
If you were to be deserted on an island, which three books would you take with you?
Oh my goodness. Well, Anita and Me, I would take. Oh my God, three books. This is a very cruel question that you saved
I
for.
know. That's why it's my favorite.
Okay, so Anita and Me. I'll bring my book. Is that too narcissistic? I'll take my book.
Why
I'll
not?
just
Why not?
just admire it. And then I would bring I bring my wife's book, When Maya Got Fierce, which is coming out soon. It's just a really fun story because it's also got a lot of jar in it. So I would bring those three books.
If you were to pick one interesting life experience or a story from your life to share with us today, what would you tell us?
If I was going to choose one life experience that I think is fun, is I joined the Navy. When we moved to Fresno, California, that was the first time that we kind of had roots. And my mom and dad were like, this is where we're staying now. So of course, me being like a third culture kid, I was like, I need to leave now, like as soon as I could. So the opportunity that I got to leave, I joined the Navy, and I was there for 8 years. And when I first, and I was 17 when I wanted to join, and my dad watched, he watched Rambo. And then he was like, I'm not signing this paperwork, because I don't want you to go out in the middle of the jungles and do anything. So so then I had to do like a particular job. Like I wanted to do like something with armed conflict, which thank goodness my dad did not sign that paperwork. So then I went back to my roots, which was linguistics. Like I love languages. I speak a lot of languages. It's because, third culture kid, I just wanted to hang out with everybody and, communicate. So I was a linguist for quite a few years with the Navy, and, I love languages. That's my jam.
Well, thank you, Navdeep, for meeting me today and for sharing your life experiences and your writing journey. Before we end our chat, if listeners want to buy your book or get in touch with you, how can they do that?
I'm on social, but here's my book cover again. It is available at any bookshop. Please do support your local bookshop if you can, but it's available anywhere that you can buy books. And please feel free to contact me at any of my social media presence.